I love Pokemon cards. They mean so much to me. You know, ever since I was a little kid, I always had Pokemon cards. I remember my binder that I had with all my pulls, all my favorite Pokemon. But do you know what means more to me than that? Money. I love money. Good morning, afternoon, evening. I'm Romeus, and if you've been paying attention to the Pokemon card market, it is crazy. It's like the Wild West. No one can find anything for retail. Since Pokemon cards are kind of going crazy right now, it just seems like all cards are like spiking in price. There are still some cards that haven't spiked in price and are kind of underrated. Picked up this Charizard from Radiant Collection, XY Rating Collection, PSA 9. I bought it for $46. I bought that card for $46. And it's an XY era card from Radiant Collection, XY. And it's a Charizard, PSA 9, and it's $46? That's crazy. You would expect it to be like $1,000 because of how old it is. And it's a Charizard, but it's not. And I'm so surprised that it's such an underrated card and so undervalued for what it is. It's like a story card. You can get the Charmander, the Charmeleon, and the Charizard, and it's like it tells a story. Cool card. But it just got me thinking of how many underrated cards there are that won't break the bank, that hopefully will be a good investment.
Oh, please.
So I made a list. So obviously, to start the list off, we got the Charizard that I already showed. This card surprisingly hasn't gone that much up in value, considering that it's XY Rating Collection and it's a Charizard. I just think it's a severely underrated card that definitely will go up in value and is definitely worth the investment. According to price charting, you can get it raw for $15. You can get it at a PSA 9 for $42. Average, I paid $46, same thing. And then a 10 at around $400, $350. So the raw card hasn't gone up that much. It's basically stayed stagnant the whole time. But the PSA 10 has gone up and down quite a bit. I just think it's such an underrated card. The lowest it was 182 at a PSA 10. But that was back last year. But now it's starting to kind of creep up. So if you're into Charizards, I think it's definitely worth the pickup. I mean, you can get a PSA 9 like me. I only paid $46. And even then, that's a pretty good investment. It's a cool card. I mean, it's also extremely low pop. So, I mean, not a lot of people have this card anymore because it's from the XY era and it's such a long time ago. Finding it in a decently good quality is going to be like extremely hard. But that's definitely one card that I'd consider picking up. So the next card that I'm going to talk about is actually another card that I picked up. I promise I'm not trying to artificially inflate the market or anything. So the card I'm talking about is the special illustration rare Gardevoir EX from Scarlet and Violet base. I know this card was very, very popular when it first came out. On price charting, like the highest price that it sold for a PSA 10 was $500. But this card has kind of gone down in price. It's kind of stagnated in price. Currently, you can get it raw for around $40. And in PSA 9, you can get it for about $40 to $45 to even less, like $30. And then for PSA 10, you can get it for about $130, $120-ish. That's around how much I pay too. So it's a special illustration rare. It looks sick. And it's also another one of those story cards like the Charizard, the Ralts, and then the Curlia. It's like they're growing up with the family. So it's another one of those cards that's really cool. And I just think it's really underrated. So it's definitely going to go up in price. I mean, usually with Pokemon trends, it eventually will go up. It'll just probably be really slowly. Again, it's a Gardevoir. People love Gardevoir. Speaking of Gardevoir, again, I have another Gardevoir on the list. I don't have this one, but I wish I did. It's the Gardevoir illustration rare from Paldea Fates, the shiny one. So currently, this card is going raw for around $70, $80. PSA 9, about $70, $80 too. You're basically paying for a raw card if you're getting a PSA 9. PSA 10 is around $200, $230-ish. That's what I'm seeing. So definitely not a bad card. I mean, this is a newer set too. It came out like earlier last year or mid last year. It definitely hasn't had time to increase in price, but it is also a shiny Gardevoir. If you look at the previous shiny Gardevoirs, they've done really well. So I definitely consider picking this one up. Maybe you can wait a little bit for it to go down. I'd definitely consider picking it up. The lowest it sold for as a PSA 10 was 124-ish. 120, and the latest one that sold is 225. So you could wait. It has a very good chance of going down, but it also has a very good chance of going up. I think this is a very underrated art card. Shiny Gardevoir. Look at the Wooper in the back. Come on, look at that thing. He's flabbergasted. Next card, in my opinion, is actually a very interesting pick. It's the Radiant Eevee from Pokemon Go. It's the promo. The reason I picked this card is because it is a promo. I mean, Pokemon Go was printed like crazy, but this was in the Eevee like premium collection box. It was the promo in that box. So, but also it has a low population. It has like 1,000 PSA 10s, and considering how new it is, that's kind of low for like a new card. It is also a shiny Eevee. People love Eevees, you know. People love them Eevees. I definitely consider picking this one up. Currently, a raw Radiant Eevee sells for about $15. PSA 10 is kind of going up. When it first came out, PSA 10 sold for about $150. Currently, it's selling for around that price. Right now, it's like averaging $130. Definitely going up. Earlier this year, it was selling for like $60, $70, $50, but now it's kind of going up. That's probably because of prismatic too. So I definitely picked this card up before it gets too late. People love Eevees. People love low pop cards. People are gonna love this card. I'm telling you, I'm calling it. Next card is going to be the Reshiram GX from Hidden Fates. So this is kind of relevant now because Black Bolt and White Flare just came out. So obviously people are going to love Zekrom and Reshiram. But I specifically chose Reshiram because I don't think Zekrom is in Hidden Fates. And also because I think this is just such a cool card. Shiny Reshiram. Hidden Fates is kind of getting some traction, so Hidden Fates is kind of getting expensive, so it's definitely becoming one of those desirable and rare sets. Getting a card from that set is really cool. Currently, you can get it raw for about 47 to 40. PSA 9 is around the same price too. It's like averaging 50 to 40. And then PSA 10, it's skyrocketed earlier this year. Before January, it was like $40 for a PSA 10, which is crazy for a PSA 10. It's skyrocketed all the way up to $144, and it's currently averaging about 150, 145-ish, which is still not bad. It's about the same as when it first came out in 2021. The highest it's been is 155. I definitely consider picking it up. With the release of Black Bolt and White Flare, it obviously is going to make this card go up more. Reshiram is a very desirable Pokemon, so I think picking it up at the current price it's at wouldn't be a bad decision. Don't quote me if I make you lose money. So the next one I have is actually two Pokemon. It's going to be the Sylveon GX from Hidden Fates and also the Espeon GX from Hidden Fates. So it's kind of obvious why I picked these two cards. Obviously, Eeveelutions. People love Eeveelutions. They're both shiny and it's from Hidden Fates. So currently, you can get an ungraded Sylveon for about $120. I know that sounds like a lot, but not really for an Eeveelution, considering it's also from Sun and Moon era. There's that too. It's kind of old. PSA 9 is around, it's actually less than the raw card, which is kind of crazy. PSA 9 is around 110, 117, 120-ish. You would be paying less for PSA 9 than the raw card. I don't get that. And then a PSA 10 is around 260, 270, 250-ish, around that range. It definitely started to go up a little bit more. Obviously, Prismatic Evolution came out, so that's probably why it started to go up a little bit. But currently it's stagnant at around those prices. If your favorite Pokemon is Sylveon, then pick up this card. And then let's move on to the Espeon. For a raw Espeon, it's going to be around $90 to $95 for a raw Espeon. PSA 9 is about the same as the ungraded version. It's like $95, $90. Some are $100. But you could probably find it for about like $95. PSA 10 is around $200, $190-ish. One sold for $150. It's definitely along the lines with the Sylveon too. It also went up a little bit in price. The one thing I don't like about Espeon Shiny though is it's green. Why do they gotta make it green though? But if Espeon's your favorite Eeveelution and for some reason your favorite Shiny, this would be a good pickup. Now I have one more Eeveelution. It's not from Hidden Fates. It's from Brilliant Stars. It's the Brilliant Stars VMAX Umbreon. And I'm gonna say something quite controversial, but I think this card has better art than the Prismatic Umbreon. I said it. Now I can't take it back. But currently you can buy this card raw for about $50, $56. That's what it's averaging. PSA 9, $60, $65, even $50. And then PSA 10 is about $155, $160-ish. So this card is actually very interesting. It had quite a bit of fluctuation. So when it first came out, it was PSA 10 selling for around $250. And then it kind of stagnated a bit. It was like $50 PSA 10. And then it went up again mid last year for $150. And then it went back down to $70. And then now it's up again earlier this year in January, about $200, $224. And then now it's slowly going back down. So you could wait for this card to go back down. It is an Umbreon. People love Umbreon. It's hard to say whether or not this card's gonna go up anytime soon, but it's definitely going down. So I definitely think if you're an Umbreon fan, pick up this card. So those are my picks for Pokemon cards that I think are underrated, that are pretty cheap. You can come back to this video a year from now when these cards go up 300%, and you can thank me. My advice isn't free, so I would take a 10% commission. But also, if you lose money, that isn't my fault. Bye!